Hello fellow Daydreamers, and welcome to my first ever bullet journal flip through. I can proudly present to you all of my 2023 spreads and also link videos for all the 12 months of that year, for which I each filmed a monthly setup video. All 12 months of 2023 are inspired by the zodiac signs in their color story, vibe and associated qualities of each sign. I've used the Leuchtturm 1917 notebook with the 120 GSM paper in the color sage. Let's start with the yearly pages. Starting off with my nameplate page and a simple table of contents. For future reference, my journal starts with an entry collage, already introducing the astrology and whimsical feel spanning over this whole journal. On the other side is a big 2024 with the major stepping stones and achievements that ruled over this year's experience for me. Moving on to my word of the year, which is become, in the sense of keeping on finding my path and purpose in many different life areas of mine. On the opposite side is a level 10 life wheel, where I've let each area of my life correspond to one of the zodiac signs. Behind the wheel is its key. From there on, I thought about quarterly goals I wanted to achieve. From those quarterly goals, I mapped out a roadmap for the whole year, spanning over the different seasons, which I marked in different colors. There are bigger stepping stones and smaller ones along the way, and then I've colored them in once I reached that goal. Next to it fit a year at a glance, where I simply marked the holidays of the year in a subdued grey color. Following that one, a future log made sense to me, and since I already had all the calendars on the previous spread, I just opted for boxes to log down my events. Each month has the star constellation of the zodiac sign above it that I will represent in that month going forward. After my future log is where I go into more specific planning of the year routine-wise in my 2 semester schedules. Here I marked all my seminars and lectures, as well as chores, workouts and YouTube things. Singular bigger projects I logged down in my master list, where I can define the steps and points in time that I needed to finish them. With all of them in this list, I get a good overview over which things must coexist and be worked on simultaneously. My finance spread keeps track of what money comes in and goes out again. This year I've got these funky patterned boxes to build on my savings for bigger projects or holidays. The last yearly spread consists of a mood board, which I still adore very much, and a pain log, which did not work out for me. I just almost never came back to thoroughly log my pain. And just like that, we're moving into the first month, January, which is represented by the zodiac sign of Aquarius, starting in that month. I did the signs in this order predominantly because I'm a February Pisces and therefore wanted that sign to end up in that month. Aquarius gave me Y2K vibes, with its main colors being blue and purple, and I collaged all the spreads in that manner. I tried to bring back my memory pages with photos in them because they are so wholesome to look back on, but you'll see me falling off quite soon. Anyway, January was the month I flew back to Scotland for a week, which was magical. In February, where I took inspiration from my own zodiac sign Pisces, I tried to do a Dutch door that resembled fish scales. Pisces colors were all about turquoise, coral and also purple, so I tried mixing those together. Otherwise, they are associated with giving off a dreamy and therefore not a very grounded feel, which is why I kept things pretty light and used minimal fine liner strokes. This was the month of Carnival, which is why there is a double spread for my memories. March is the bold month of Aries, coming in with that strong red and black combination. I've used a few more vintage type motifs to change it up a bit. I was going so strong in the physical health department that month, partly because I was inspired by the fierceness of the Aries people. April belongs to Taurus. I stuck down a piece of fabric here and lived out my spring cottagecore dreams. I particularly love this mood spread with the plant overflown kitchen sink. I started working at my local cinema in this month, which gave me a new dimension of purpose. In May, I focused on the sign of Gemini, which struck me as playful and very sociable. I paired their primary color scheme with some retro objects. I love my playful Tetris mood tracker. June belongs to the sign of Cancer. I had this idea to recreate this wave painting. You'll see what I mean if you go back to this setup. And with the blues and silvers, I chose a more subdued, elegant theme, flowy like the ocean itself. July is where all the maximalist luxury comes out through the zodiac of Leo. Their gold and red combination and love for luxury made this choice pretty obvious. Since I was on semester break here, I did pretty well on my habits and goals. In August is where I went on a little rustic walk through a forest with the Virgo feel. That earth sign grounded me right back to nature. But it was also the month where I traveled to Lisbon as well as to Neuchâtel with friends. Again, a nice contrast to the last few months of all the soothing earth tones. September is once again a stark contrast with its pastel tones and balance inspired by Libra. Not what I otherwise would have imagined for this first month of autumn, but I loved how it turned out, especially this Dutch store weekly situation. October is where I naturally leaned into the spooky season, which worked perfectly with the sign of Scorpio, giving me a very dark colored story. I just had to pair it with more Victorian and vampire-esque elements. I even have this literal scorpion peeking through the glass-stained window to the entry page of this month. The second to last one is probably the brightest one this year. It stands for Sagittarius, being eclectic and experimental, wanting to travel all over the world. I got this mandala kind layered Dutch door, which makes the spread even more one of a kind. The year ends grounded and soft with the month of Capricorn, giving me muted blue and green tones combined with neutrals. I had the idea of a mountain range that I brought to my entry. And my journal ends with this letter to myself that I wrote in the last week of 2023. Other than that, there are a few empty pages at the back of this journal, but that almost always happens to me. I used some of them to plan out my 2024 bullet journal spreads and gather theme ideas. The setup for this one and for January of 2024 are already up on my journal. Feel free to check them out. And now, thank you so much for watching and having accompanied me through my journal and my first year here on YouTube. I hope you stick around for a bit longer, subscribe and dream along some more. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!